Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Film Geek. Today I'm talking about the top 5 best movies that take place in just one night. Okay, so maybe there's a little daylight in these movies, alright, maybe a little setup in the afternoon, or things kind of trickle over into the wee hours of the morning as the sun's coming up. But the biggest part of the story takes place at night. Alright, so let's get things started here with number 5, and that's 2019's Ready or Not. Ready or Not tells the story of a bride's wedding night where her in-laws force her to play a horribly deadly game of hide and go seek. The first thing I want to talk about with this movie is Samara Weaving's acting. She does an amazing job of carrying this entire movie on her shoulders. I don't mean that everyone else in this movie sucks, don't get me wrong. She just has the biggest part. The entire movie really depends on her. She is our main focus throughout the entire thing. And she does an absolutely phenomenal job in this movie. One of the things that make this movie great is how they solve some problems of keeping her in the house. Now, in a lot of movies like this, a cell phone, of course, can solve all the problems, period. But this movie does a great job of doing things like, okay, well, the power's been killed, you know, the family has these rules they have to follow when hunting down their victims. So the movie does a really good job of dealing with modern problems. This film is also a fantastic blend of horror and comedy. And it's like a 50-50 blend. There are so many great little jump scares that come out of nowhere, and also some of those jump scares end with you laughing your ass off. This movie is darkly funny and scary at the same time. That brings us to number 4 on this list, and that is 1979's The Warriors. Can you dig it? Blamed for the shooting of a predominant gang member at a summit, the Warriors have to run from behind enemy lines back home to Coney Island. Some of the things I love about this movie is it takes a basic story like a bunch of soldiers getting stuck behind enemy lines and trying to fight their way back to safety and throws it on its ear. It has this really cool comic book style that gives the film its own really unique flavor. This film is also timeless. I love stuff like this. It just says in the near future. So what this movie's trying to say is at any given time a gang's gonna decide to dress up like a bunch of baseball players and paint their faces like Kiss. Just wait for it, it's coming. Number 3 on this list is from one of my personal favorite directors, and that's John Carpenter's Escape from New York. The year is 1997. Manhattan has been turned into a prison colony, and wouldn't you know it, the President of the United States of America's plane has crash-landed in the heart of Manhattan, and only one man can save the day. Snake Plissken. This movie is some of the best work you're going to find from John Carpenter. This was made during his heyday. This movie is non-stop, balls-to-the-wall action, silly, over-the-top fun, and just Kurt Russell chewing the scenery up. Which, by the way, he has gone on record to say that this is not only his favorite movie that he's ever made, but it's also his favorite character, Snake Plissken. And how can you not love a character like Snake Plissken? And the funny thing about Kurt Russell is that he was not the choice the studio wanted. They actually wanted Tommy Lee Jones. I couldn't find the reason why they wanted Tommy Lee Jones. The studio just really felt that Kurt Russell just didn't have the right look. And also, too, the kind of films that he had done before this didn't really fit with this dark action-adventure character that they were trying to play here. And so the studio had no faith in Kurt whatsoever. In fact, I don't think they had much faith in this film in the first place. Alright guys, that brings us to number 2 on my list, and that's Martin Scorsese's After Hours. After Hours tells the story of an ordinary office worker who one night decides to go visit a woman who lives in Soho, and while he's there, well, the best way to put it is wackiness ensues. This is a film of its time. There's no way a movie like this could possibly happen today with cell phones. And even if you lost your cell phone, there's just too many opportunities to get in contact with people. There's obviously going to be somebody in the evening that you're going to be able to turn to and ask, hey, can I use your phone? Somebody would probably let you do that at some point in time. Maybe not in New York City. I don't know. We're a little bit friendlier here is what I'm told. But I would feel that somewhere down the line in this movie, with just everything that keeps happening to this guy, somewhere down the line, somebody's gonna hand him a cell phone and tell him, you go ahead and use it, buddy. One of the things about this movie that I love is just how everything just escalates. The whole evening just keeps getting worse and worse. Just every time you think, well, what could possibly go wrong? Everything just keeps going wrong. Every moment that it seems like this guy is gonna get some glimmer of hope to get his butt home, something else happens. This movie's great. This is just a very unique and underrated film for Martin Scorsese. If you're a fan of Martin Scorsese's more darker, crime-ridden films, check this one out. Yes, it still has a dark edge to it, don't worry. So that brings us to our #1 position, the top dog, the big kahuna of movies, if you will. And the #1 slot goes to 1973's American Graffiti. American Graffiti tells the story of some high school graduates and the night before they leave for college. This film is a classic. This movie is so good, it is ridiculous. You don't really realize that the film has sucked you in until you're almost halfway through it. You identify with these characters. You want to see where they're going, where they're headed. You kind of get to the point where at the end of the movie, you're like, no, wait, I want more. I want to know more. Which there is a sequel, More American Graffiti. I'm not going to say it's a bad film. I haven't watched it in a really long time. It's just very different. The storytelling in More American Graffiti, and I'm hoping I'm getting that right, it's very unique. It's very different. One of these days I might sit down and watch it again. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Who knows? But right now we're talking about #1. This film is just an absolute amazing slice of American life in 1962, told through the eyes of these teenagers about to start their lives. And this is such just an amazing time of life, isn't it? Where you just don't know what's gonna happen. Every day seems like an adventure. God, man, I miss those days. This film is just one of those movies that's just extremely relatable. Most of us have been in the shoes of these main characters that night before the rest of your life, the excitement, the fear, and all of that bundled into just one night. If you haven't seen American Graffiti, I highly recommend that you check this film out. I didn't look up where it is out there. Just leave it up to yourself. I'm sure you could find it. It can't be that hard. It's an American classic. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of another Film Geek video. If you liked what you saw here today, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and ring that bell for notifications so you know when I put another one of these videos up. And if there's one other thing you can keep doing, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.